Cardinal News Hour on Bird 6. I'm Christine Guerra.
And I'm Annie K. Collier. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We have some fascinating stories for you tonight. First on the hour, we have field reporter Annette Petrillo with some disturbing new information about shortage in chocolate.
Thanks, Anna Kate. Disturbing news it is. According to the world's largest producers of chocolate, Mars Inc., we're consuming chocolate at a faster pace than farmers can grow cocoa, the plant that makes chocolate. In 2013, consumers devoured 70,000 metric tons more cocoa than was produced. Back to you, Christine.
Thanks, Annette. I think I'll save that Halloween candy now. Next up, we'll have literature correspondent Laura Seamus, who has an exclusive interview with best-selling author R.L. Stine.
Thanks for joining us here on Bird 6. We have many fans who love to read your terrifying stories. But Goosebumps fans may not know what fans of your Rotten School series definitely know, that you're actually a pretty funny guy.
Oh, I'm a very funny guy. In fact, I love comedy. I started out my career writing funny books and editing humor magazines. A lot of kids don't know that I wrote dozens of jokes and comedy books before Goosebumps.
What was your favorite humor book as a kid?
I liked funny animal comics like Andy Panda. They were big when I was growing up, and I was a huge fan of Max Schulman, who was a hilarious author. He had a big influence on my comedy writing.
A question our students love to ask is, what was your favorite subject in school?
It was actually English. That sounds so boring, but I loved writing growing up. I would just spend hours in my house writing away on my typewriter. And a funny thing is, it's not surprising though that gym was actually my least favorite subject in school. I was never much of an athlete.
But you are definitely a terrific writer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to our special guest, Mr. R.L. Stine. Back to you, Anna Kate.
Thank you, Laura. Wow, I had no idea that R.L. Stine did comedy. I'll be sure to check out his new book.
And now it's time for Point Counterpoint. Tonight we're discussing grading and technology. We're used to computers testing multiple choice tests, but should computers be allowed to grade student essays? Let's hear from our panelists, Tina Pezzamenti and Judy Rogers.
I say we let the computers do the grading. They're accurate and they're also objective, which means they won't let their opinions of students influence their grades. Also, they can work faster than humans, which gives us teachers more time to do other things.
Well, I see your point, Tina, but you know, human grading gives a more realistic perspective. You get to see what the student really meant because, you know, a computer, it's either right or it's wrong. So I like the human grading because then you kind of know what the student really meant. Or, for instance, you're looking at the paper and you're going, oh, it's not exactly word for word, but it was right. The computer, it better be exactly what it means or it is wrong. So, also, how are we supposed to learn from our mistakes if we don't get to teach them? So, I'm all for having the humans grade.
Interesting arguments from both our panelists. I think Rogers has persuaded me. Let humans grade essays. Now, to wrap up our news show is our meteorologist, Caitlin Gallagher. How's our outlook looking, Caitlin?
Thanks, Anna Kate. Good evening, and I've got a frosty forecast for you. You're going to be needing your coziest outerwear this week. We're looking at a low of 17 degrees and a high of barely 27 degrees. Precipitation's only about 20% chance though, but stay tuned because there's a low pressure system coming off the East Coast that could bring us some snow on Monday. Back to you.
Okay, I'll be sure to dress warm. Thanks, Caitlin. That's it for Cardinal News.
Join us tomorrow at 6. Good night, viewers.